tensions between Washington and Moscow just escalated dramatically. Russia on Monday announced that it will no longer abide by its self-imposed moratorium on the deployment of short and intermediate-range nuclear missiles. This decision follows U.S. President Donald Trump's order to reposition 2 American nuclear submarines in response to growing nuclear threats from Moscow. In a blunt message, Russia's former President Dmitry Medvedev accused NATO of walking away from the decades-old treaty and warned of further steps from the Kremlin. Medvedev, now deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, declared on X. The Russian Foreign Ministry's statement on the withdrawal of the moratorium on the deployment of medium and short-range missiles is the result of NATO countries' anti-Russian policy. This is a new reality all our opponents will have to reckon with. Expect further steps. The Russian Foreign Ministry echoed this stance in a formal statement, saying it no longer considers itself bound by previously adopted self-restrictions under the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, INF. The ministry pointed out that the U.S. had already begun deploying such missiles in both Europe and Asia. President Trump had announced last week that he had ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in the appropriate regions, warning that Medvedev's recent comments could have serious consequences. In Moscow's first reaction to the U.S. move, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov urged restraint. He said, "In this case, it is obvious that American submarines are already on combat duty. This is an ongoing process, that's the first thing. But in general, of course, we would not want to get involved in such a controversy and would not want to comment on it in any way," he added. "Of course, we believe that everyone should be very, very careful with nuclear rhetoric. We do not believe that we are talking about any escalation now. It is clear that very complex, very sensitive issues are being discussed, which of course, are perceived very emotionally by many people." The Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty was signed in 1987 by U.S. President Ronald Reagan and Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev. It led to the destruction of over 2,600 missiles from both sides and banned ground-launched missiles with ranges between 500 and 5,500 kilometers. In 2019, President Trump pulled the U.S. out of the treaty, accusing Russia of violating its terms. Russia, at the time, said it wouldn't deploy such missiles unless the U.S. did. That moratorium is now officially over, and the nuclear chessboard just got a lot more dangerous.